How's it going, everybody? Welcome to another edition of The Opinion. And the talking is over. The press conference is done. All that's left is the weigh-in. But other than that, the talking, the build-up is over. And the biggest fight in a long time in the welterweight division or in boxing is here between Errol Spence Jr. and Terence "Bud" Crawford, coming to you live pay-per-view Saturday from the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. And I'm here to break it down for you because this is the breakdown. This is the breakdown that you want to be in tune with, because I know there's a lot of other people talking about who they think is going to win. And, you know, it's a close fight. So I don't blame you if you say that, hey, Errol Spence is going to win. I don't blame you if you say that Terence "Bud" Crawford is going to win this fight. But I'm going to tell you why I have the prediction that I have at the end of this video. So stick around at the end of the video, or maybe midway through, because I'm going to tell you who I think is going to win this fight and everything as well. So essentially, let's get right into the breakdown of this fight. Both of these guys come in undefeated. Terence Crawford's coming in 38-0. Errol Spence is coming in 28-0. I believe 29-0 as well. Both of these guys have stopped just about every opponent they have fought. They've outpointed every opponent that they have fought. Both of these guys have outstanding defense. So their opponents land probably within the 20 percentile range of each other as well. But in this fight, I believe that Errol Spence has more ways to win than Crawford does. Let's first start off by talking about Terence Crawford. I believe Terence Crawford can only win this fight one way, and that is if he catches Errol Spence maybe being careless with one of his punches and then counters him right on the button, right on the chin, and it's lights out. But that's the only way that I think that Terence Crawford can win this fight. And with that being said, I think Errol Spence's defense and his awareness is too high to let just that one perfect shot happen. Could it happen? Yes, it's boxing. It could always happen. But I would go with Errol Spence in this fight to win the fight, because I think that Errol Spence has more ways to win than Terence Crawford does. Like I said, Terence Crawford is going to be fighting from the outside, fighting on his back foot, looking to counter Errol Spence whenever Errol Spence comes in with shots. And he's going to be looking for Errol Spence to be careless so he can catch that one shot. Now, Terence Crawford, he is very accurate with his punching. It could happen, but I don't see it because I think Errol Spence's defense is too good and his awareness is too high to allow that to happen. And he also has a good chin. So if he does catch him, don't look for him to go down on the first shot if he does catch him in that particular way. Errol Spence can also catch Terence Crawford in the same way. If Terence Crawford comes in and throws something careless, Errol Spence can catch him and land a devastating punch right on the chin, and it could be lights out as well. Now, the thing we don't know about Crawford is we don't know what Crawford's chin is like. We have not seen Crawford take a shot from a heavy hitter at any point in his career. He did fight Porter, but Porter really didn't land any clean shots on him in that particular fight. But all of his other fights have been against guys that don't really have the power. A lot of his fights, most of his fights were at the lower weight classes, and you can't blame him. I mean, he has to fight the guys that are in front of him. But at the end of the day, he has not fought a guy like an Errol Spence. So if that scenario happens where Crawford comes in, he throws a punch and he's careless, and Errol Spence sets him up and lands it on the chin, it could be over with, lights out, he's on the ground, down for a 10 count as well. So at the end of the day, we have more questions about Crawford in his skill set. Well, not necessarily his skill set, but his chin in this particular fight. So can he take a solid shot from Errol Spence right on the button and stay on his feet, or even even stay on his feet, but basically make it out of the round? Because we know Errol Spence, we've seen Errol Spence take some good shots and stay on his feet and make it out of the round, even in fights where he has been hurt as well. Another thing that I think the reason why Errol Spence will win, like I said, I think he has more ways to win than Crawford. Crawford cannot get on the inside with Errol Spence and mix it up, going to the body, going upstairs, mixing it up. That is not what he wants to do. He wants to fight this fight in the middle of the ring, on the outside, on his back foot, trying to set up counters, trying to set up traps. Errol Spence can make this fight a slugfest. He can make this fight a slugfest where he gets in on the inside and goes upstairs, downstairs, and he's notorious for going downstairs to the body, breaking his opponent down, upstairs as well. We saw that with Ugas, where that fight was stopped because Ugas, I believe he broke his orbital socket bone as well. So we've seen what Errol Spence can do on the inside. We have never seen what Terence Crawford can do on the inside. And I don't think Terence Crawford wants to get into that type of fight on the inside where both guys are mixing it up. Because if Terence Crawford gets into that particular type of fight, things will start to go downhill for him very, very quickly, because the more and more the fight goes, Errol Spence seems to get stronger when fights are fought in that particular type of fashion as well. Let's talk about both guys' defense. I think Errol Spence has a very, very underrated defense, and Terence Crawford has very good defense as well. But at the end of the day, I would have to give the defensive advantage really to both of them. I think from a defensive standpoint, both of these guys' defense is even. When you look at the power, obviously Errol Spence has the power in his right hand and in his left hand, as he is a southpaw. Terence Crawford has some good power as well, but we're going to have to see which fight he fights. Is he going to come out and fight in a more orthodox stance, or is he going to come out and fight in a more southpaw stance? Either one, I think either one, Errol Spence will be ready for it as well. When we look at the competition that both of these guys have fought, Errol Spence fought Sean Porter first. Errol Spence fought, I'm forgetting his name, the guy from the UK. Errol Spence fought those guys first before Terence Bud Crawford fought them. So at the end of the day, those guys were already broken down. They were already damaged goods before Terence Crawford then fought them. And, he did finish them off in faster fashion. That is impressive. But Errol Spence was the first one to fight those guys, and the first one out of the two to basically beat those guys as well. So at the end of the day, when you look at the competition, to me, it's not even close. Errol Spence has fought the better competition. If you look at the overall skill set, you may say that Crawford has a little bit better of an overall skill set. When we talk about hand speed and footwork, you may say that he has a little bit of an advantage, but his advantage is very, very slight. And that's again why I give Errol Spence the advantage in this fight, because Terence Crawford, any advantage that he has is a very, very slight advantage. And some of the advantages that Errol Spence has, it's not even a slight advantage. It's just an advantage at the end of the day. When it comes to the ring IQ, I'd say both of these guys are neck and neck when it comes to the ring IQ. So at the end of the day, for me, I think Errol Spence has more ways to win. He can get on the inside, break down Terence Crawford, and really wear him down, score points, wear him down, maybe get a stoppage, but at the end of the day, more importantly, score points and win the fight. Or he can catch Terence Crawford slipping with a lazy punch or something lazy within his game and catch him right on the button, and then it'll be over. The only way that Terence Crawford can win the fight is to fight on his back foot and catch Errol Spence slipping, and that's the thing. But I don't think he's going to catch Errol Spence slipping, because once again, Errol Spence is not coming in there wild and crazy like how a Manny Pacquiao would, or like how a Ryan Garcia did. That is not Errol Spence's style. Errol Spence is very comfortable fighting on the outside with you when the fight starts, but then as he starts to find his range, he starts to close that gap, and he closes it, and he closes it. So at the end of the day, I have this fight going to Errol Spence, whether it be a decision or maybe a 10th or 11th round stoppage. Yes, I said stoppage, because I just don't think Terence Crawford has fought anybody to the degree of an Errol Spence just yet in his career. It's going to be fireworks. Look for something unexpected to happen. This is going to be memorable, but I think it's going to be a stoppage, and I think it'll be a fight that will warrant a rematch, and we'll have to see what Terence Crawford can go back to the drawing board. And I guess what I'm saying is that we'll have to see what Terence Crawford can do when he goes back to the drawing board to see if he can make any adjustments for the rematch. But for the first fight, I've got Errol Spence winning, just based on the fact he has more ways to win. And when it comes to percentages, if you have more ways to win, I will take the guy who has more ways to win over the guy who has less ways to win, less power, and everything else is more so even in this fight. So leave your comments below. Let me know who you think's going to win. Tune back in here. Probably going to be live right after the fight on Saturday night to break down what we just saw and everything. So subscribe, tune in, leave your comments down below. And other than that, I'm out.